Hello, good day. So for this particular lecture, you won't see me on screen. I am recording in the dark as to improve the audio quality of the video. So for this lecture, we will discuss data types in Python. Okay, so I've already prepared the notebook. So we'll be using that. It's on the C drive. So again, as a review, we open the Jupyter Notebook by searching the Anaconda prompt. So you type Anaconda prompt, and this time I'm using Windows 10. Okay, previous video I used Windows 7. So from time to time I'll be switching to Windows 7 and Windows 10 for those who are both using Windows 10 and Windows 7. Okay, so you just open the Anaconda, but I already opened this one. So I have a prepared notebook. So again, I'll go to the root drive, which is, the command is cd backslash, and it's on the CPE14 directory. So you type the command again, cd CPE14, okay? Then we will open our Jupyter notebook in this specific directory. So let us just wait for the opening. Okay. So a copy of the data types IP, Y, and B will be given to you after this lecture. So to load this one, you just click the file. Okay. So today we'll be discussing Python data types. Let me just zoom in. So Control plus on the browser so that the text will be bigger, including the code cell. So for Python data types, we have first, we will discuss numeric data types with integer and floats. Next one is the strings or the text. Next one is the Boolean, which has a value of true or false. And we have seldomly used the imaginary. We have the list. We have the tuple. We have the range. We have the dictionary and set. So all will be discussed during the specific segment of the topic. Okay, so I think we can now start. So let's start with the numeric data types. Okay, so let's type here again. So I'll be documenting this code using the markdown. Okay, so from previous lecture, so that you can have a copy of this and still you can review this. Okay, so for numeric data types, the first one is integer. So sample of integer are numbers. Okay, so we have 1. So shift enter. So to confirm this is an integer, we can use the type function for the Python and provide parameter. Okay, type 1. So the output says it's an integer. Okay, we have also the float. The float is the spelling of the float. Okay, so any number with a specific decimal place is considered as a floating number. So shift enter. So 2.05 is a float. So to confirm that, 2.05. So Python says this is a float. Okay, so this is also a float. So 0.25255. So this can be considered also a float because it contains a decimal number. Okay, that's the two basic data type for numeric. Also, if you have a numeric value, we can perform arithmetical numbers. So to do addition in Python, say 1 plus 1, of course, you can have the plus. Okay, shift enter. So the result is 2. So for multiplication, you can use the asterisk. Okay, or the star. So 1 times, let's say 3. So that's 3. So for division, you can use the slash. So for example, 10 divided by 2. So shift enter. That's 5.0. So how about you do subtraction? So 10 minus 5, of course, the subtraction operation. So that's 5. So the next one is doing exponent or powers. So you can do that with 2 asterisks. So 2 raised to the 4, that will be 16. Okay, so another example, 3 raised to the 12. That will be 531,441. So another one, we have the modulus operator. Okay, so this is a comment. It will execute, but the code will execute as a comment. Okay, so let's try the modulo operator. This is a division, but we are concerned only about the remainder of the division. So for example, 5 modulo signified by percentage, modulo 2, the result will be 1 because 5 divided by 2 is 2, remainder 1. So another one, okay, about 13 modulo 4, so the remainder still is 1. So how about 154 modulo 37? So the remainder will be 6. So modulo is, again, remember, it is a percentage operator. Okay? So the next one, probably we will be talking about precedence of operation. So which operators come first. So for example, Python follows the PEMDAS rule also. We have these operators. So the multiplication will be executed first. So for this one, so the answer will be 37. Because the 7 times 5 will be executed first. Now, if you want to change the priority of the operations, so you can do parenthesis. And it will change the precedence of operation. So this will have a different result. Actually, it's the same because it's addition. Okay? But if you do multiplications or division, so you can change the precedence by doing parenthesis. Okay? So shift enter. So this one is 0.4. Okay? So that's for numeric data types. Next one. So before we proceed for data type string, let me discuss about variable assignments. Okay? So as any programming language, it has also a variable. So let's talk about variable assignment. Let's talk about first variable name ruling. So a variable in Python, it cannot start with a number or special characters. Okay? So for demonstration, so let me define a legal name variable. So for example, x is equivalent to 2. Okay? So we just assign here 2. We just assign here the value of 2 to the x variable. So we can confirm that by typing x. So the value is 2. Okay? That is a legal way to define a variable. So what is not acceptable name for variables? Okay? So again, a variable name cannot start with a number. So let's say 12a is equivalent to 1, 2, 3. So shift enter. So that will be an error. Because again, variable cannot start with a number. It cannot start also with a special character. So let's say at x y z is equivalent to 1 2 3. So again, this is an error also. So how about with space? So how about x space y is equivalent to 3? So that is also an invalid syntax for variable declaration. Okay, so if you want spacing in your variable, let's say name of var, so you can use the underscore. Okay, so to confirm that, name of var equivalent to 2. Okay, so you can also do arithmetic using variables. So this is very common for data science. So let's say x is equivalent to 2. So we already replaced the value from before. Let's say 25. Okay, and y is equivalent to, let's say 10. So shift enter. So your x will be 25, your y will be 10. So we can do arithmetic. So for example, z is equivalent to x plus y. So that will be 35 for the value of z. Okay, so that's the ruling for variable assignment. So next, let us proceed with string. Okay, so let me create a markdown first. So we'll discuss strings. Okay, so strings are just text. So in Python, you can do it in two ways, using a single quote. Okay, so single quote. Okay, this will be considered a string. Okay, to confirm this one, so single quote. Okay, so that is a type string. So another one is by using double quotes. So this can be also a string. So you can do that with double quotes. So how about when you are mixing, let's say, a possessive apostrophe? Okay. So how about this? Oh, it's a wrap. So should this run? Should this statement run? So this will be an error. So why? So because this one is considered the most erroneous part. Okay, so in order to execute this in Python, this kind of string, you have to enclose it in double quotes. So it's a wrap. Okay, or you can do escaping. Okay, you can also do this. So single quote, you escape the apostrophe. Okay, a wrap. So single quote. Okay, so you can also do that in terms of string. So remember, the bottom line for string is you can use a single quote, but not the mixture of both. You have single quote and you have double quote at the end. You have a double quote at the start, then you have a single quote at the end. It will not work. So another important topic is printing. So most of the time we will print something on the screen. So let us discuss also the printing. Okay, so again, markdown. So we're documenting. So this one is printing. Okay, let's say for example we assign the hello variable to x. Okay, so let's say I want to know the value of x. So x is hello. So this one is different. So let's say for example this is print x. So you notice that this has no output. So it means that it prints right on the browser. This just means that the output is, although you can see this one, this is not considered printing. Okay, we're just displaying the value of x here. This one is the legal print, which is name is hello. So we can also say print formatting. let's say for example, num is equivalent to 13. Then we have a name is equivalent to, let's say, Sam. Okay, so we define num equals 13, name equals Sam. So let's do print formatting. So you will do this. So print, for example, my number is, you can do curly brackets. So 1, and my name is curly bracket 2. Then you define the format. Okay, so dot format, let's say 1 equals num, then 2 equals name. So for this example, we're just supplying the num value with a 1. So if I executed this line, so it will say my number is 13 and my name is Sam. So another method you can use, okay, so print, so just the same example, my number is curly brackets, blank, curly brackets, and my name is another curly brackets. Then format, this is string formatting again. So num, then you have name. So this is just the same. So my number is 13 and my name is Sam. So this is actually, we print it on the browser itself. As you can see, this don't have the output at the side. So we print. Okay. So next one we'll be discussing about list. So again, markdown. So let's talk about list. So what is a list in Python? So a list is a data structure in Python that is first characteristic. It is mutable or changeable. Okay, it is also an ordered sequence of elements. Okay, so each element or values that are inside of a list is called an item. Okay, so maybe a demonstration will enlighten you. So to create a list in Python, you enclose the values in square brackets, so such as this one. So 1, 2, 3, and separated by comma. So shift enter. So you created a list. So you can also create a list with string. So let's say A, B, C. So this also considered as a list. How about you can do mix type? Okay, so you can do this also. So A, then you have 1, then you have another string again. So C. So you can do mix data type. Okay, so let me show you some operations on list. So let's define my list is equivalent to, let's say, A, B, and C. Okay, that is my list. So the definition above says that a list is a mutable. It means that it can change. Okay, so sample, my list will be using the function for list, the append. Okay, the append function. So don't worry, I will teach more functions for list. So this is just one. So let's say my list that append D. So look at this output. So now my list has 4 elements already from the previous 3 of ABC. So this means that you can insert value, or it can mutate. Okay, that is why it's called a mutable. Okay, you can also index list. So for example, so my list index 0. So this will grab the first value on the list. So y0, because imagine this, if you're familiar with arrays. So indexing always starts with a 0. So my list index 0 will be A. Okay. So another one, if I do my list index 1, so it will grab the value of B. Okay. So we can also do the colon notation with my list. So for example, my list, let's say colon 1. So what does this syntax say? This says that grab from the elements from the start, then stop at 1. So this will only grab the A in the list. Okay, so my list from 0, so stop at 1. Okay, so this one is 0, this is 1, so it's grabbing only the list of A. Remember, this is a list by signifying the square bracket. From the previous one, this is the element itself. Okay, so my list 1. So another one, you can do this one. So my list is equivalent to, let's say, at index 0, we'll provide a new value. Let's say new. Okay, so shift enter. So let's look at our new list. So my new list is new. At index 0, the A is replaced. Okay, from previous operation, my list is A, B, C, D. But I have a syntax here, replace index 0, the 0 item, with the word new. So my new list is new B, C, D. Okay, so you can also do, how about a nested list? Okay, so let's define a nested list. It's equivalent to, let's say, 1, 2, 3, comma, then another list inside. So let's say 4, 5, and how about another list inside? So this one is, let's say, this is the target. Okay, so let's see. So this one is nested. So that is a nested list. So a list inside a list inside another list. So what if I want to grab this value? What will be my syntax? This one is very important when we are dealing with data frames. So the splicing and the indexing of lists is equivalent or when we delve on the topic of data frames. Okay, so how can I grab this one? So let's start with a very simple syntax notation. So first, I want to grab this part. So you will count. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this will be nested index 3, right? So you will be grabbing the second list. Okay. This is the second list, but this is the fourth item inside the list. Okay. So this one is 0, 1, 2. So then you will have a nested 3 index 2. So you will be grabbing the target, but this target is still a list, right? So I want you to target the target word. Okay, so this one is nested. So index 3, index 2, then 0. So that's the only time that you will grab the value of the target. Okay, so that is how list works. So it entails indexing starting from 0. Okay, so let us continue. So another data type in Pythons are dictionaries. So dictionaries. Okay, so what are the properties of dictionary? So it is a collection which is unordered. Okay, it's also changeable and indexed. Okay, so another property, dictionaries are written in curly brackets. They have keys and values. So for demonstration, so let's define a dictionary. So D is equivalent to curly brackets. You have key 1, for example. How about item 1 as the value? So comma, you have key 2, so colon, and you have item 2. Okay, we defined a dictionary. Okay, to confirm that. So key 1, item 1, key 2, value of item 2. So it is index also, but you define the name of the key. So let's say, for example, I want to grab the value of key 1. So this will display the item 1. So how about the key 2? So we'll display the item 2. So it is also changeable. So we can define also a specific value. So for example, we have the key 3 is equivalent to, for example, item 3. So we are assigning another key. So shift enter. So let's see what's the value now of D. So this one. So key 1, item 1, key 2, item 2, key 3, item 3. If you're familiar with JavaScript object notation or the JSON, okay, the JavaScript or about that JavaScript object notation, okay, in JavaScript, it looks like a dictionary. Also, if you're familiar with associative arrays, okay, so it looks also like a dictionary. Okay, so let's continue. So another data type is the Boolean. Okay, so let's document this by creating a markdown cell. So I advise you always document your code. It's a very good practice. So let's say a Boolean. So I know you know Boolean already. It's just a matter of value of true or false. Okay, so in Python, okay, two values for Boolean, either true. Okay, again, we use the type function to confirm this one if this is a Boolean value. So yes, this is a Boolean value. Okay, type, another one, capital F. This is false. Is it a Boolean? Yes, this is a Boolean value. Okay, so let's say, for example, is 2 greater than 4? Okay, that's false. Is 4 greater than 2? Yes. Is 4 not equal to 4? So that's false. Is 4 equal to 4? So these are comparison operators. Usually you will use this in control structure or control flow programming if you're familiar with if statements. Okay, so these are just some of the comparison operator. Is 4 greater than or equal to 5? Okay, that's false. Is 5 is greater than equal to 4? So that's practically the value of Boolean. It's just either true or false. So next one, we discuss about tuples. Okay, so these are tuples. So this is also much like the list, but the properties of tuples is that the opposite of a list. It is not mutable. Okay. Another property is characteristic of this is it is enclosed in parentheses. Okay. So for demonstration again, so for the tuples, so let's create a tuple. Okay. So for example, T is equivalent to 1, 2, 3. So this is different from a list because it is enclosed in parentheses. If you do square brackets, this is a list. But if you do parentheses, these are tuples. Okay? So T equals 1, 2, 3. So you have tuples. So 1, 2, 3. So it is not mutable. So for example, I will replace the value 1, which is index 0, with new. So for example, E index 0, I will replace this with the value of new. So if you do this one, you will have an error because tuple object does not support item assignment. That is called that is why it is considered not mutable. You cannot replace its value. Okay, that's the difference between a list and a tuple. Okay, so next one are sets. Okay, so what are sets? Okay, so sets are basically it looks like also a dictionary, but it has no key value pairings. So for example of sets is 1, 2, 3. So these are different from dictionary. Okay, so dictionary means that you have a key value pair, just like this. Okay, this is a dictionary while this is a set. So what's the difference between this one? So set entirely considered unique values. So for example, you defined 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, and you have 3, 3, 4, 4, 1, 1. So look at the result. Okay, it will consider the same value as 1. So instead of displaying this length of sets, it will consider only the unique value. Okay, which is look at the 3. So 1, 2, 3. It has 3 elements, but the sets consider this only as 1. So including string, of course. So if you have A, if you have B, and you have C, and another one you have A, so the set will consider this as 1, the 2A. And the very last one, this is seldom used, okay, but it's also a data type, which is the imaginary, or these are complex, okay, so complex numbers, okay. So in Python, it is denoted by the letter J. So for example, we have 3J. Okay, this one is a complex number. So type 3J. So this is complex number. If you remember in algebra, okay, 1 plus I, this is a complex number. So this is very seldom used in Python, but it's there. It's a complex number. Okay, so for the next topic, we'll be discussing about comparison operators, logical operators, control flow statements. So if statements, it's every programming language has an if-else statement. We're also talking about loops, the for loops and the while loops. We'll be talking about ranges too, list comprehensions, functions, lambda expressions in Python, map and filter, of course, and several methods, and more exercises on string indexing. So see you at the next lecture.